It is that time once again where I tell all of you to get off my lawn. It's a Dave 101.
It's time for Dave 101.
Open up the door, it's Dave! Dave, D-A-V-E! Dave, out here! He's the killer! Yeah! He's the killer! He's a mess.
Today is a rant about observations that are just weird, strange, and sometimes make me scratch my head. All right, let's get right to it. You know, I'm not a fan of people who are trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the great people involved in the UFO world, those who have had experiences, those who have researched this subject for decades, when all of us just want answers. And then every now and again, there's somebody who comes in, tries to play the big boy or the big girl or the big non-binary and take over the world of UFOs. And this is why sometimes certain things just need to be called out as head scratchers. So you know that we have been a little critical over the last couple of months of this brand new ENIGMA Labs. Why? Well, everything seems to be a big secret with this private company funded by a multi-billionaire. They seem to not want to tell us who's involved, who's advising them, what they're doing. Why do they want any sort of public help with your stories? No, they seem to do everything in secret. But every now and again, their PR person throws up a tweet that just makes you scratch your head. For instance, a couple months ago, they tweeted out that they were not involved in any contractual obligations with government or any sort of military contracts, but they wanted to work with government and military in regards to UFOs. Little irony there. Follow it up with this latest tweet. And I had a good laugh on this, and I thank Michael Huntington, a good friend of this show, for pointing this out. So, Enigma Labs tweets out earlier, and let me find it here, because it just makes no bloody sense. Where are we here? They basically are asking where you are going to report your latest sightings. Yeah. Where are you going to report your latest sightings? Would you tell us about them? And the funny part about it is this. If you go to respond on their Twitter account about this situation, you can't. Why? Because they have their entire Twitter account locked down from anybody in the public. And the only people who can respond to Enigma Labs tweets are those who they are following. So the tweet comes down today. Have you seen anything unidentified lately? Share it. Submit.enigmalabs.io. So Michael Huntington shared this tweet. He goes, will any of this data be shared with intelligence agencies? To which I responded, isn't it ironic that they asked this question, but Alejandro Rojas, their PR person, has the Twitter feed locked down to only people Enigma follows can reply to their questions. Kind of hard to get public answers if they can't respond. Now, I don't know about you, but this group just keeps getting weirder and weirder, and yet they want your most intimate information regarding UFOs and ET contact. I don't know if I'm going a little haywire here with too much UFO, too much woo in my blood, or if I just am reading this saying, can you believe this crap? Honestly, How do they expect to get people to respond on social media when their social media accounts are locked down? Why are they locked down? Because people like me and people like you are asking questions. If that doesn't say nefarious, if that doesn't say entitled, if that doesn't say we're better than you and we don't need your responses, I don't know what does. I really don't know what does. It just amazes me. Here's something else that amazed me over the last couple of weeks was the Galileo Project's head, Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, writing a blog with the head of the Aero UFO UAP program at the Pentagon, Sean Kirkpatrick. Now, we talked a little bit about this with our guest, Les Velez, but I'm still scratching my head over this one, and you should too. Remember, experiencers mean nothing so far to the UFO program. We have been told to go sit in the corner and wait your turn because that dastardly ufology is causing nothing but problems for this entire phenomena. Let the big boys and girls do their work. We know better than you. And yet, Loeb and Kirkpatrick come out with this story that they believe there is a mothership hanging around, sending drones down to Earth like they're little ticky-tackies and really bugging everybody on Earth. All the militaries, they're bugging the nuclear facilities, they're bugging Joe in the middle of the bayou who's trying to catch alligator. He's getting bugged too. All right. Everybody's getting bugged. And yet here we are with hundreds, if not thousands of people, experiencers, who've talked about being told of this galactic federation that has a mothership out there, maybe behind the Earth, parked, waiting for humanity to grow up, waiting for us to stop killing people, to stop raping this planet of all its necessities and beauty, to basically start treating this planet like we should. Now, I'm not an environmentalist because I ask too many questions, logical questions. I'm not on anybody's side. I just want to know certain answers. But I do find it ironic that we have all of these people who've never met each other talking about these aliens who've brought them to this galactic federation ship that is waiting and watching what is going on with humanity. And yet here we are having an astrophysicist and the head of the UAP program talking about this mothership. Coincidence, or is there something real? Because you know they're not going to accept the idea that the experiencers could be right. No. We can't have any of that. We can't have anybody sitting there saying that this is a good thing. These are all their own ideas. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Kirkpatrick is in the know. He is very much in the know. That's his job, to be in the know. Why would they talk about this mothership hanging out around our solar system? Flying on by, maybe doing a little bit of investigation. What are them Earthlings up to? What's happening on that planet? Because let's face it, we are the greatest reality television show in the history of the universe. We got everything. Every 7 deadly sins that you could come up with, from the originals to even the ones you want to add, we're doing it. All right? We are doing it. And yet, we're not allowed to talk about the experiencers, people. Oh, no. Not at all. And there's one other story that I probably shouldn't bring up, but I'm going to. Because there was a person, I'm going to keep this person's name out of it. a person who I used to talk to very privately and cordially. And this person used to tell me, Dave, nobody takes spaced out radio seriously because of the woo, because of the stories and the weirdness of the guests that you have. Nobody wants to take that seriously because 3/4 of it is garbage and the last quarter is probably untrue. And we have to watch ourselves with the amount of woo that we are putting into the universe because it is not helping the cause. Now, this is a person I was pretty close to at one point and a good insider for me. But then this person recently comes out on a different podcast saying we have to start prepping for the woo. The woo and the experiencers and the experiences they're having are the next phase of ufology. Well, no crap, Sherlock. Here you were insulting what we do, insulting the people who I bring on the show, saying that we were a detriment to where ufology needs to go. And now you're turning woo yourself. Does that make sense? Now, a lot of other podcasts would call out names and try and embarrass people. No, I don't do that here. I try to be a little bit more professional. I try to be a little bit more cordial. And number 3, or number 2, or maybe even number 1, I am just someone who just sits back and watches all of this BS grow. You can't make this up, where one day you're getting ripped because of the woo, and the next day you're being told that the woo is next. Oh, yeah. This is the world we live in when it comes to ufology these days. Nobody has a straight answer. Nobody wants to give a straight answer. Nobody really wants to tell you what they know for the sake of their NDAs, for the sake of their pride, for the sake of their positioning. But when it comes down to it, everything out there just keeps pointing us in the direction that we go. And that is the direction that we follow. In the end, the woo is going to win out. Why? Because many people are starting to realize behind the scenes that without the woo, you really have nothing. You really don't. There are still very many people argumentative about that, but more and more people are realizing that average, everyday people who've had an extraordinary experience are holding something within themselves. And those are the puzzle pieces that'll put the puzzle together. And finally, to all the people who were trying to rip me a new one on Twitter because I said about a week and a half ago that I'm sick of the what is proof question. And then trying to nag me on saying, you bring on a bunch of weirdos who have zero proof of their own experiences. How can you trust that? Here's the reason why. Nothing we bring forward is going to be good enough. You could have the $1 million UFO landing video with little alien grays coming on out and government officials meeting them. You're going to tell me it's CGI. If I have the greatest photograph of Sasquatch ever, you're going to tell me it's photoshopped. If I got the greatest EVP on recording, you're going to tell me the audio was edited. So I ask you again, what is proof? And there is no such thing as proof. And the only thing reliable, in my opinion, which is not good enough for at least 70% of the people involved in ufology, are the great stories from good people who just want to know what happened to them. It's been a weird week, but we figured it out. And that is your Dave 101. Let me know what you think below and leave a comment on our YouTube channel. I want to get your opinions on everything that was discussed tonight on the Dave 101.